episode of Daredevil Born Again, we ended at the point where Matt Murdock's apartment was blown to pieces by Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin. Kingpin was slowly destroying Matt Murdock's life. He was destroying Daredevil's life. Now, guys, in our second episode, we will continue the story of Daredevil Born Again, and let's see what happened after Kingpin blew up Matt Murdock's apartment. Matt was literally not able to do anything now. He was broken at that level. He had only $10 in his pocket, and he was wallowing in self pity and misery. And on the other hand, Kingpin was winning. He was laughing with achievement, and the exact thing he wanted, which he was expecting and waiting to happen, that happened. Matt was standing in front of Kingpin as Matt Murdock and not as Daredevil. In fact, Kingpin was surprised that it took Matt so long to come to him and meet him himself. And then there was a hand-to-hand fight between both Kingpin and Matt Murdock. There were no words said between Kingpin and Matt Murdock, only fists and only fight. Even though Matt tried his best, but he was nothing as of right now compared to this Kingpin, because this Kingpin was too much for this broken Matt. And it was not the person Kingpin who had lost everything. In fact, it was Matt who had lost everything. Kingpin could have just killed Matt at that moment itself, but instead he put him in a cab with some drugs and threw him in the East Side River. And then he waited for the news of his death like an obsession. It became an obsession for Kingpin to find Matt Murdock's body, but it was not found. Even though the cab was eventually found, there was no body of Matt found. On the other hand, in South America, Karen Page was getting worse and worse with and without drugs both. She realized the gravity of what she had done when hired killers tried to attack her, and which this caused her to run away. Then she got into one bad situation and then another bad situation. She kept on getting into bad situations, and again the same thing started to happen with her, until eventually she ended up meeting a drug dealer who was also a pimp. This drug dealer, this pimp, beat her and he raped her. But this drug dealer and this pimp, whose name was Paolo, he brought her back to New York. And when she came back to New York, she met Foggy Nelson. Even though she was expecting to meet Matt Murdock, she was not able to find him anywhere. No, now Foggy Nelson was working for Wilson Fisk at that time. See, this is what I meant, guys. This story keeps getting weirder and weirder. On the other hand, Ben Urich, Matt Murdock's other best friend, was after the cop who had lied about Matt, and he was trying to discover the lie which had framed Matt Murdock. This cop, this cop Ben Urich, got to know. He discovered that he was lying about Matt Murdock. He had a son. He had a sick son for whose treatment Kingpin was paying for. Therefore, for his son, this cop gave a false testimony against Matt. But now that his son was dead anyway, this cop wanted to set things right for Matt by telling the truth to Ben Urich. But before he could do anything, but before he could tell the real truth to Ben Urich, this cop was beaten to death by a freaking lunch lady, guys. Yes, freaking lunch lady. I was so shocked when I read the story for the first time. This freaking lunch lady was so scary, and in front of Ben Urich, she beat this cop to death like anything, and she even broke Ben Urich's hand, and she threatened Ben Urich to forget Matt Murdock's name forever. But this kept on pushing Ben to go on and on for the real story. Ben's hand was broken, of course, but he was still determined to go after the story. He was still determined to go after Matt Murdock. Even though the same cop tried to speak to Ben again when he was in hospital and tell his side of the story, he was killed by the lunch lady on the phone, and Ben could not do anything except listen. He was shocked. He was shook when this lunch lady killed the cop on the phone itself. Now, on the other hand, Matt, after the cab incident, began to live on the streets as a beggar, literally as a beggar, because he had no place else to go, until eventually he was stabbed in the stomach by a goon, only to be picked up and saved by Sister Maggie, who was a nun from the local church. He was saved by her, and he was taken in by her, he was looked after by her. And that was when he realized that Sister Maggie was his real mother. Now, guys, I will leave you to this point in the story of the second episode of Daredevil Born Again. In the next episode, I will continue the same story. If you like my channel, please like my videos, subscribe and share the videos. Until next episode, peace out, guys.